Ever feel like you're running in place? Working hard, hustling, but not really getting anywhere, especially when it comes to your finances.
It's the classic hamster wheel scenario.
Exactly. And today, we're diving deep into Luke Belmar's Making Money Blew My Mind interview to unpack his strategies for escaping that cycle and charting a more fulfilling, financially sound course.
It's about time we ditch the hamster wheel. And here's the thing. Belmar's wisdom isn't just for entrepreneurs.
Right, whether you're at the helm of a startup or climbing the corporate ladder, this deep dive is like a cheat sheet for success.
Think of it as your roadmap to not just making money, but building real, lasting wealth and a life of purpose.
I love that a roadmap. And Belmar gives us the directions right off the bat with what he calls the trifecta of unshakable earning power. It's like the foundation of, say, your success skyscraper.
Love the analogy. He starts with high demand, which boils down to this. Whatever you're offering, people have to actually want it.
Makes sense. Seems obvious, but I'm sure tons of us get caught up in ideas that we love, but that maybe don't have the widest appeal.
Absolutely. And Belmar goes deeper here, drawing a distinction between tapping into fleeting trends versus tapping into more enduring narratives.
Okay, so what's the difference? Give me an example.
Imagine someone selling fidget spinners back when they were all the rage.
Riding that trend.
Right. Short-lived, potentially lucrative, but ultimately fleeting. Now, contrast that with someone who tapped into the narrative of, say, remote work and started a thriving business coaching people online.
Okay, I'm with you. One is a quick hit, the other is a long-term shift. So, ride the trends for a quick buck, but build your empire on the narratives, those deeper currents of change.
Precisely. Now, ready for the next side of Belmar's unshakable earning power triangle?
Absolutely, lay it on me.
This is where it gets really interesting. Be the best.
Sounds straightforward enough.
It's more than just being good at something. Belmar challenges us to completely reframe how we view our own potential. He wants us to stop focusing on what we're not good at.
Because, let's be honest, we all have those things that make us feel inadequate.
For sure. And Belmar would argue that school especially drums those insecurities into us.
Instead of nurturing our natural talents.
Exactly. He encourages us to identify those innate strengths, those fixed strengths we have.
So things like our character, our work ethic, are the qualities that define who we are.
Right. And then, he says, relentlessly hone the variable strengths, the specific skills that truly light us up.
I love that. It's about owning your natural talents instead of constantly trying to fix every weakness.
And if there are areas where you just don't excel, find a partner, someone who complements your skill set. Build a powerhouse team right from the start.
Okay, so we've got high demand. We're becoming the best in our chosen field. What's the final ingredient in Belmar's recipe for unshakable earning power?
He calls it irreplaceability, which, in this age of AI and automation, has never been more crucial.
It's about becoming the go-to person in your space, the one everyone wants to work with because they know you're the best.
It's about building a reputation that precedes you, not through self-promotion, but through consistently exceeding expectations.
It's about letting your work speak for itself.
Exactly. You become synonymous with quality and reliability. That's how you become irreplaceable.
So we've got this trifecta down. But how do we actually live it? How do we make these principles tangible in our everyday lives?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Belmar introduces this idea of small L's, little choices we make every day that seem insignificant on their own, but add up to big setbacks over time.
Ooh, I'm already feeling a little attacked, and you haven't even given an example.
I get it. We've all been there. Picture this. Hitting that snooze button instead of going for that run you promised yourself. Or endlessly scrolling social media when you said you'd tackle that passion project.
Ouch, I feel seen.
Or, as Belmar puts it, buying that $50 t-shirt you absolutely don't need when you already have 9.
Okay, now I'm really feeling seen. Guilty is charged on the retail therapy, small L's.
And that's the thing, right? These seemingly small indulgences, they're like tiny leaks in our boat. They might not seem like much at first, but over time, they can really sink us.
So how do we plug those leaks? Where do we start if we want to break free from this small L mentality?
Awareness is key. Belmar says we need to take a good, hard look at our habits, our spending, our daily routines, really pinpoint those areas where we're constantly falling short. Once you're aware of those small L traps, you can start making different choices.
It's not about beating ourselves up for past mistakes. It's about recognizing those patterns and then choosing differently moving forward.
Precisely. And this is where Belmar's approach really resonated with me. He doesn't just preach tough love, he emphasizes the importance of grace.
We're human after all.
Exactly. We're all learning, we're all growing. It's okay to mess up. The important thing is that we learn from it. And this actually ties beautifully into another one of Belmar's central themes, authenticity.
That word gets thrown around a lot, authenticity.
But what does it really mean when it comes to success?
To Belmar, it's all about making sure your actions line up with your core values and desires. But he takes it a step further. He talks about authenticity as this higher vibrational frequency.
Hold on. Energy and frequencies. This is about to get a little woo-woo, isn't it?
It might sound that way, but stay with me. Belmar references this fascinating study where researchers measured the energy frequencies of different emotions.
Okay, and what did they find?
They found that authenticity vibrates at an even higher frequency than love. Wow, okay. So if we're not being true to ourselves, if our actions don't match our desires, we're basically creating this static, this resistance to our own success.
Exactly. It's like trying to listen to a radio station with the dial slightly off. You might pick up bits and pieces, but the signal is going to be weak and distorted.
So how do we tune into that authentic frequency? How do we find that perfect signal?
It starts with getting clear on what you truly want, not what you think you should want or what society expects of you. Once you have that clarity, you can start making choices that are in alignment with that vision.
It's about ditching the shoulds and embracing the want-tos.
Absolutely. And remember that whole concept of grace we were talking about. That's crucial here too. When you're operating from a place of authenticity, you're less likely to beat yourself up over setbacks because you know you're showing up as your truest self.
You're honoring your own journey.
And that's all that matters.
I love that.
Yeah.
So we're being kinder to ourselves, tuning into our authentic selves. What else can we do to escape this hamster wheel? Because Belmar offers some pretty concrete tips, right?
He does. And he starts with something so simple, yet so often overlooked. Reduce your costs.
It's not about deprivation, right?
No, not at all. It's about awareness. Where are those small L leaks in your budget, that daily latte, those subscription services you barely use? It's about redirecting those funds towards things that truly matter to you.
It's about being more intentional with your spending. I like that. What else does Belmar suggest?
His next tip is all about creating a side hustle. Find a way to generate income outside your 9 to 5, even if it's just a few extra bucks a week.
He seems super passionate about this. And in the interview, he gives some great examples. Flipping sneakers, freelancing, even offering premium car washes.
The key, he says, is to find something that utilizes your existing skills or passions, something you're excited enough about to stick with even when it's tough. And then last but not least, he urges us to define our goals. What's that big, audacious thing you want to achieve? And by when?
And he's a big believer in writing it down, right? Making it real.
He is. He says that the simple act of putting pen to paper transforms a wish into a commitment. It makes it tangible.
So we're reducing costs, our side hustle is bringing in some extra cash, and we've got our big, audacious goal written down and staring us right in the face each morning. Now what? How do we keep that momentum going when the initial excitement of a fresh start inevitably fades? So we've diligently reduced costs, our side hustle is bringing in some extra cash, and we've even gone ahead and written down our big, audacious goal. It's staring us right in the face each morning. Now what? How do we maintain that initial spark when the excitement of a fresh start inevitably starts to fade?
That's where Belmar talks about having this defined purpose. He believes that's what truly separates the people who achieve lasting success from those who, well, let's be honest, give up when things get tough.
Because it's easy to get discouraged when you hit those inevitable roadblocks.
For sure. It's about having that unwavering why, knowing deep down why you're doing this. And that's what keeps you going, even when the going gets tough.
So how do we tap into that? How do we crystallize our purpose?
Belmar uses this really powerful analogy. He says, imagine you're a ship captain.
Okay, I'm picturing myself in a captain's hat.
Perfect. Now, you wouldn't set sail without a destination in mind, right?
Of course not. And you certainly wouldn't abandon ship just because you couldn't see the shore. You'd trust your compass, adjust the sails when necessary, but ultimately stay the course, even through uncertainty.
Exactly. It's the same with pursuing our goals, that defined purpose, that clear vision of where we're headed. That's our compass.
It's what keeps us grounded and guides our decisions.
Exactly. It's what fuels our persistence, especially when things get tough.
This really makes you think about the bigger picture, doesn't it? It's not just about checking off some goal on a list. It's about the journey itself, about who we become along the way.
That's something Belmar emphasizes. He says reaching a goal, it isn't actually the finish line. In fact, he talks about this paradox of achievement.
A paradox of achievement. Tell me more.
Well, we push ourselves to reach this destination, this goal we've been striving for. But sometimes when we get there, we find ourselves feeling kind of
You climb to
lost.
the top of the mountain, only to realize there's a whole mountain range behind it?
That's a great way to put it. He's saying it's easy to feel a sense of what now after achieving a long sought milestone without a clear vision for what comes next.
So how do we avoid that?
Belmar believes we need to shift our perspective. We need to start viewing success not as this final destination, but as this ongoing journey, this constant evolution.
So always setting new targets, always growing.
Exactly. It's about embracing the journey with all its inevitable challenges and triumphs. And here's the really interesting part. Belmar argues that the true reward isn't actually external validation.
It's not about the accolades or even the financial success.
It's about something much deeper. It's about the person you become through the process.
It's about the lessons learned, the resilience built, the self-discovery that happens when we push ourselves outside our comfort zones.
Precisely. And you know what? Those experiences, those struggles, those triumphs, those become woven into the fabric of our story, our legacy.
It's like those experiences become part of our internal compass, guiding us forward.
Love that. And that's something truly valuable, something nobody can ever take away from us. So as we wrap up this deep dive, Belmar leaves us with this thought-provoking question. What's your story going to be? What choices are you making today that are shaping your tomorrow?
Are you content to stay on that hamster wheel? Or are you ready to step off and chart your own course? It's a powerful question, and I encourage all of our listeners really sit with that for a moment. This deep dive has been packed with so many valuable insights and practical tips for achieving success on your own terms. Remember, success isn't about luck or circumstance. It's about aligning your actions with your goals, embracing the journey, and never losing sight of that bigger vision. What resonated with you today? And most importantly, what action will you take to escape your own hamster wheel?